Yes. You know what's the best way to describe the modern-day news cycle?
The news and all the other things that really matter to you. Like sensationalist bullshit.
Yeah, it's pretty much that. And yes, that is from San Andreas. Good times. One of the things that I detest about the so-called news business is that it's basically a drug racket. And given its enormously swollen market, coupled with ideological persuasions and factions, virtually none of them based on truth, by the way, because very few people can actually handle the sulfuric acid that is a true red pill, what you end up with is this trough of slop that caters to the lowest common denominators, aka the purveyors of less heck shock and stupid. Enter one of the main purveyors of the existential dread, Mr. Civil War himself, Tim Pool.
The idea there is a civil war brewing is retarded. If you believe that combat is anywhere close in America, you are...
Tim Pool said so. Beanie Man.
You're an idiot.
Based scrum. Tim Pool saying the cringiest thing imaginable right now is MAGA diehard shitting on Joe Rogan. Make more enemies, burn more bridges. You gotta love the hyperbolic language that Tim puts on everything, as if those following the news has the energy to stay mad at anyone for more than 48 hours at a damn time. Give me a friggin' break. The American news consumer has the attention span of a shit-faced raccoon. Cat turd, the cringiest thing imaginable right now is the podcast bros, diehard fence-sitters, simping for Bernie bro Joe Rogan, who literally just endorsed weirdo RFK Jr. and refuses to interview Trump and pretend he's somehow on our side. Speaking of burning bridges. Also cattered, dear leftists, Joe Rogan can say anything he wants on his podcast, and there is absolutely nothing you can do about it but cry. Yes, said the one that's crying right now that Joe Rogan said something that upsets a MAGA disciple. God, I love when these people burn themselves. It's funny as hell to watch. Mind you, these kinds of accounts generate the news cycles, by the way. He didn't endorse RFK Jr. either. Not that these accounts actually give a shit about anything. No. The slop trough must be filled with the bullshit. I don't know anyone who thinks Rogan is on Trump's side, by the way. So where they get this crap from, God only knows. The most generous spin that I can possibly put on it is they believe Joe having conversations in general skews people more to the right, acting as a sort of counterbalance to the acid-brain midwittery whose minds are glued to mainstream news. With Timmy Boy replying to all of this, I think Trump is on track to lose, and this is why. Dems are a cult, will march in lockstep, MAGA diehards can't form alliances properly, independents post-libs will say fuck that, registered Dems outnumber GOP by almost 12 million. Okay, couple of things here, and this will be my counter-take on the matter. First off, Tim will say whatever the hell he can to get the clicks and views, hence why he says civil war constantly. Even though anybody knows, as Scrump alluded to there a few moments ago, the idea of America verging on civil war, violence is inevitable on that scale is retarded, right? Dems are a cult, will march in lockstep. Yeah, that is if they march. MAGA diehards can't form alliances properly, and the current Democrat voters are going to coalesce around Harris, are they? Really? No. I don't think so. Independents post-libs will say, fuck that. I think they will say that when they look at the current state of the country, not when they look at Trump. Registered Dems outnumber GOP by almost 12 million. Yeah, that's irrelevant. Okay, now let's look at a couple of realities here, shall we? Kamala Harris is a deeply flawed and unlikable moron. She is an idiot. This is someone who in 2020 had financial struggles and dropped out of the primaries before it even hit her own home state. She got one buffled 2 Mars by Tulsi Gabbard on a debate stage with other Democrats, for goodness sakes, right? She got shoved out the limelight by the current administration, of which she is the VP, because she kept cackling like a damn hyena. She was an embarrassment, and still is. Why do you think she's not talking to the press? She is still doing the exact same things that failed in 2020 now, which leads me to believe she has some kind of a learning disability. Though you can tell she's been coached by some ex-Clintonian staff, I imagine, or something. Whatever you do, for the love of God, do not laugh. But she's uncharismatic. She has no sense of humor. She has no sense of style or charm whatsoever. She is a loser. If Tulsi schooled her with one single punch, what do you think Trump is going to do to her? He is going to annihilate her. Secondly, how's her campaign doing so far? Oh yeah, terribly. She can't talk in front of people because, again, she is an idiot. Look.
It is good to be back in Pennsylvania. It really is good to be back in Wisconsin. It is so good to be back in Michigan. I am clear. The path to the White House runs right through this state. And listen, I am clear. The path to the White House runs right through this state. I took on perpetrators of all kinds. I took on perpetrators of all kinds. I took on perpetrators of all kinds. I know Donald Trump's type. I know Donald Trump's type. In this campaign, I proudly put my record against his any day of the week. In this campaign, I'll tell you, I will proudly put my record against his any day of the week. Are you ready to make your voices heard? Ready to make your voices heard? Are you ready to make your voices heard? When we fight, we win!
Cringeworthy.
100%.
Over and over again. Then, of course, we have this picture that went viral of one William Legate, who's clearly illiterate. Breaking: Trump has ordered his team to literally cover up entire levels of venues he's unable to fill with black cloths to make it appear as if there aren't thousands of empty seats. First off, why is ordered in quotations and cover up in asterisks? Secondly, look at the photo, numbnuts. The woman is holding a Harris Walt sign. My word, these people are thick as porridge, aren't they? Then you have photos like this, where you can see the lack of crowds on the reflection on the jet, the images on the phones. Her support is so non-existent, her campaign has to use AI to make it appear as such. It's the most astroturf thing I've ever seen. The campaign is so desperate, she's literally stealing Trump's policies. Which is funny because the Biden IRS planned to crack down on tips a year ago. Pretty sure those Trump tax cuts expire next year, by the way. But anyway, secondly, look at her campaign conduct. Trump doesn't need AI at plane departures or rivals, rallies or stadiums. Kamala Harris needs them at all three, either that or celebrities. And then the people bug off once the celebrities bolt. Next up, the press. Harris doesn't even talk to the press. As a matter of fact, has she even held a formal press conference or interview since she was selected as the candidate? I don't think so. But she doesn't talk to the press unless it's as scripted and muzzled as Biden's appearances. And Biden was senile and stuttering more than someone who just got busted wanking. What's her excuse? Harris, you can't smooth out with uppers. Pretty sure there's a sex joke in there somewhere. Anyway, who knows? But heaven's sake, J.D. Vance talks more to the press than she does, and he trolls them whilst he's at it. The main thing that just strikes me as bizarre is what gang of demented asylum escapees thought it would be a good idea to bring this idiot into the fold and drag her ass to the finish line. It makes the entire system look like a house of ill repute. Actually, you know what the funniest comment on her was? Judge Joe Brown. Because he said he thinks the way that she talks is indicative of early on-stage dementia. Which, frankly, all things considered, is absolutely hilarious. But I can also believe that, because there's no way in hell her speechwriters are telling her to sound that stupid. Or if they were, why haven't they been fired? So much about her is a question mark, although all of them lead to the conclusion she's either debilitatingly stupid or insane. So where does Tim see this enthusiastic mass coming from? Because the country's in terrible shape, and now has the most awful candidate ever put on the ballot, next to one that gave the best economy in probably 50 years. This is going to be great! Man, I can't wait for the debates. See, here's the gimmick, and I'm sort of paraphrasing off an ex-post here. The media is essentially campaigning on her behalf, and now it's a race between how well can the media prop up her facade for the normies versus how well can Trump tear it to pieces. That's basically the gamble here. Well, make no mistake, Kamala Harris is pants-sweating terrified of Trump. In hindsight, she's probably better off not debating. I mean, Biden is a better speaker than her, and Trump finished his career. Actually, he has a tendency of ending careers in debates, and she is the weakest of the last two Trump put away, so why anyone thinks this is a good idea, God only knows. The thing is, few people know who Kamala Harris even is. She has very little actual support, hence the AI. She is very unlikable, and the more people know of her, the more they dislike her, because anything she puts out is instantly awful, which galvanizes the Trump base, campaign, and a horde of memeing lemmings all over X. See, this is why she is so quiet, because she can't do anything right. Anything she does is instant ingredients for a team of funny men who's watching her every move like a hawk. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a paid meme team on the Trump campaign. If there isn't one, they should make one. It should be funny. Quite literally, that's a job description right there. You see, here's how I would look at the situation. And this is going to sound a tad strange, but if you've watched the news cycle, you can vouch for this. virtually nothing from now till November really matters in the grand scheme of things, because the people who've already made up their minds aren't likely going to be swayed by much. Basically, the last, say, 72 to 48 hours of the campaign is all people are going to remember, and a lot of them will vote based on that. If by some hellspawn she wins, it will either mean the democratic system is officially beyond repair and needs to be cast into the bucket of history where it rightfully belongs, or the people are so stupid they will literally vote for someone who stands for absolutely nothing. Either way, this system is still unfit to exist. Cheers for watching, and once again, I apologize for nothing.